these are very long videos. You do not need to sit there and watch the whole thing. Listen to it like a podcast whilst you're working or masturbating, and you can't do it unless there's some sort of white noise in the background.
If you're doing that to my voice, very honoured.
Hey.
Sorry.
What's up, guys? This is Briggsy here, and again, joined by Tom.
I don't leave.
No.
I don't leave. As people are aware, I've just always been here.
Yeah, people think, they must, stop shooting, and he goes home. No, he just, lays here until the next thing comes out.
Yeah, I'm good, man. No, shut down.
Right, as I was saying to Tom before we started recording, I would like to try and keep this one a little more concise, because these things to edit and upload are the bane of my existence. Especially after last time. My internet's shit, these things take ages to upload. Also, if the sound quality is slightly different, it's because my flatmate Ben has stolen, well, he hasn't stolen, he's borrowed my mic, so.
Son of a... Ben.
You're dead to me.
Dead to me, man. I've met you once.
Yep.
But why are we here?
We are here because a very momentous occasion happened. I feel like we only ever meet on momentous occasions. You know that big thing that's just happened? Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. It's always happening.
Oh,
it's a good couple of weeks between things.
So I'm wearing this, and it's because...
Nice. Captain America Civil War!
Right. Okay, so we both watched this at midnight screening, and from the very top of this will have spoilers, because I can't be bothered with kind of pussyfooting around details. If you're watching this, if you're watching this says spoilers. So, as always,
everywhere there's a spoiler here, spoiler here, spoiler here, spoiler here, spoiler here, spoiler here.
You're making so much work for me. Right now. Just the words of spoilers popping
I'm talking about a spoiler-filled room.
Yes, as always, we're trying to come up with a way of tackling this, but we're probably just evidently. Like, I like this bit, and I like this bit, and this bit was really good too.
What about that? I like that bit too.
It was really good. So this continues on from The Winter Soldier, and most of the other kind of Marvel films as well. This is like a bit of a culmination of everything that's happened previously. So it's one of those things where if you watch it as a standalone film, you can still really enjoy it, but if you've watched the other ones,
it's got that.
It adds it.
Yeah, so
adds that a little bit.
On that example, my friend went to see it last night, loved it. She absolutely adored it. She'd never seen any MCU films.
Oh, okay.
Gonna need to probably...
correct that.
Yeah.
Yep. I think this is probably the best Marvel film.
Yeah.
Just in the sense that it ticks a lot of boxes, and the Avengers... Marvel Universe is known for not really having great enemies or antagonists, whereas this one, the antagonist, I guess, is just their relationship and the situation that they're in.
Like, there's the underlying, Zemo is sort of pulling strings to an extent, but only...
Got a couple of things to say about that.
Brawl.
Yeah.
But no, you're right, really when you think of villains in the MCU, Ant-Man's villain didn't really... I can't remember. Not including on Ant-Man.
He was crazy for being crazy.
Yeah, I'm Obadiah Stane in Iron Man 1, then Whiplash and in Iron Man 2, and then sort of...
There's just, you could say that Loki is a good enemy, but he's not really just a straight up villain.
The one that I really do think is probably the best is Bucky, the Winter Soldier. Well, should we just start talking about the film?
Let's talk about the film.
So have you read Civil War?
I know pretty much everything that happens in it, but I've not actually sat down and read it myself.
Okay, cool.
But I know enough about it to understand where the difference is between that and the movie happened.
So, obviously it starts with the incident.
Yes.
Basically, the film premise is the Avengers they're getting a bit too much for the world to sort of turn a blind eye to. Yeah. Because they've started to have effects.
They're going all over the place. They're ignoring borders and things like that, and people aren't happy about it.
Yeah, they're not. They want control. So you had Sokovia in Age of Ultron, where loads of people died. The end of Winter Soldier, where 3 massive ships crashed into New York. New York is obviously New York's really the driving one.
Yeah, which is nice
been.
because you've got there's a scene where they're all sat down and they're being shown footage of these events and they have like a death tally.
Yeah.
And it gives you a bit more context.
Yeah, you're
normally,
like, oh shit.
Well, yeah, because not to knock on it, but like for example, in Man of Steel, when he's just falling through all these buildings and shit's going on, it's just like it's a bit. It kind of distances you from what's going on because you're like, oh well, you know, you don't really think about it.
Yeah.
But in this, actually seeing a number of people that they've killed, but
have died because of their actions.
Yeah, it gives it a bit more gravitas.
Nice. It's on their hands. So basically, people get aware of this, and then there's an incident at the beginning. At the beginning of Civil War in the comics, a school is blown up.
Yes.
Which was never going to happen here.
No, completely understand that. That's dark.
I'm not going to want to sit in a Marvel film and watch 312, I think, children get blown up.
Yeah.
I'm good for that. Like, not really anything I want from my Marvel films.
Yeah.
So instead we have 11 Wakandans, which we'll get to, died because of Scarlet Witch throwing an exploding crossbones into a building.
Which I'm glad they just kind of dealt with him quickly.
I like that I always thought he was going to be the opening sort of challenge.
Yeah.
I didn't think he'd lead to the incident.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's brutal when he goes to blow himself up. It's a cool sequence.
Yeah, she like encapsulates him, and then he's like fucking burning alive.
Yeah, he's like gone,
and but yeah, Scarlet Witch tries her best to get rid of him, but then still catches people in the crossfire, and still good.
Yeah.
It's a bit more weaker of a reason to like that was the straw that broke the camel's back, as it were.
Yeah, it's like 11, like, you've thrown a city on the floor. Not that killing 11 people is bad, but I think what happens here is that because the Wakandan king, T'Chaka, and his son, T'Challa,
BP,
are involved. They're royalty and they've lost their people.
And they take it a bit more seriously. Well, not seriously, but they're
like, right,
a bit more proactive.
They're like, right, fuck's sake, stop it now.
Sort of shit out.
But that, I think, really plays, one of the things I like about this is there's all the plays like what we expected, what we wanted from Civil War and what we're getting. Where in Civil War, in the comics, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of superheroes fighting, blah, blah, blah. And in this, it's 12 or so.
Yeah.
But, and again, because that's smaller, I think the incident has to be smaller. But it just wouldn't have been possible in this. We don't have hundreds of superheroes.
Yeah.
Like this.
And it makes it more personal as well, having a much smaller roster.
Yeah, because you know the characters. Like, you're not just watching people fall that you don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, they come in and they tell Captain America that the Sokovia Accords, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. This film's fantastic.
Yeah, he's a bit of a mopey bitch, but
he's definitely the most emotional that we've seen him.
Yeah.
Like, but he's with the Secretary of Defense for this, isn't he? He wants them under control.
Yeah, he has an interaction with someone who's like, he killed my son, and he's also going through his own personal stuff with Pepper Potts.
Yeah, something's happened. I was literally sat. I was like, wait, did I miss something in a previous film? No, have I forgotten something? We don't know. We don't know. I was like, like.
But yeah, so Tony Stark's going through some shit. So I feel like he's at a point where things are affecting him more so than what they normally would. So they start doing some setup. And he's talking about his parents who died. So he's jumped straight on board with this, saying yes, this is something that needs to happen. We need to be kept in check. And
Captain America,
good old Captain America, he's like, goddamn, no way, boy.
And that's basically it. Like,
that's the main
film. Like,
it's two ideologies clashing with each other. And then there are consequences because of that.
Which is, oh my god, it's going to be the same with Batman vs Superman, where this film's going to get better and better and better as I talk about it. But, so...
I'm sorry.
This is a much better film.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like,
easily.
I'm happy to say now. Not now, like, as in, I've seen the light.
Yeah.
But this is a much better film. But, so you've got Team Cap, Team Iron Man. I'm Team Iron Man. Nathan's Team Cap, so this makes a very good... jumping off point.
Yeah.
Team Iron Man a few people, even Black Widow goes on to Tony's side.
Yes.
She understands, doesn't she?
She understands, but does she understand, or was it just a long con?
Yeah.
No, probably she just
I
understood.
think she probably understood. And yeah, so Cap has Falcon.
Yeah, so Cap has Falcon, Ant-Man, Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye,
And Bucky.
and Bucky.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else? Is it just 5 of them?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, including Captain America.
Yeah.
And then on Tony Stark's side, you've got Rhodes, aka War Machine. You've got Vision, Black Widow, sorry, and
We'll get on to this.
someone else.
We'll get on to this. Is that it?
That's it.
That's
Because
it,
it's
yeah.
6 aside.
Yeah, so really, Tony does have the weaker team,
Yes.
but he's got Vision, who is basically
He's
he is power. He is power.
Yeah,
he
like,
could.
There's a good scene between him and Hawkeye.
Oh.
You're just like, man, you don't stand a chance.
You have literally. That's the thing is, if Vision went bad,
Oh man, people will be fucked.
yeah, he'd be so screwed because he doesn't know his own power, and that's the thing is, he has those points in the fight where he's just like, stop it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But what is nice is that each one of them they do kind of go into it a little bit as to why they stand on the side that they stand.
Yeah.
Like Rhodes is he's a military man, so he's sides on the government, believing in that, like them knowing best.
Yeah.
Um,
With Rhodes as well, I think you've also got the point of same as Sam Falcon on Cap's side is they're loyal to.
yeah, they're bros.
Yeah, like Rhodes is loyal to Tony.
Which I might cut this. I don't know.
So yeah, so you've got the sides. They sort of come together. Like I think the best part of this film is the second act. Like
Yeah, I will say that I only had a few issues with the film, and one of them was it seemed to drag a little bit in the first.
it was a while. I remember thinking there was a scene where Cap's climbing up something, as he does, as you're inclined to do, where I'm like, well, no one's suited up.
Yeah.
Like, apart from the beginning, you don't see Stark
For a long
time in his suit, but except you see little bits, like you see his hand.
Yeah.
That bit's in the trailers when he stops Bucky, when he holds and Bucky shoots, and you see the shock in his face, like, that's after Bucky's broken out.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
So, to just kind of quickly wrap up the story, as it were. So, different ideologies. You had the Sokovia Accords being signed. Then there is a terrorist attack, which gets Black Panther involved because his father dies.
Shocker.
And everybody thinks that it's Bucky. So basically, Captain America, being the badass that he is, it's like, no, I'm not going to let you guys potentially kill my friend.
Yeah.
So he goes after him.
Oh, there's that chase scene.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the action.
Yeah. Goes after him, tries to bring him in peacefully. They then get caught, and then it starts getting a little more complicated.
You're introduced to this Baron Zemo guy.
Yeah.
Who you've seen torturing people. The film starts with a flashback.
Yes,
With
it does.
Bucky going out on a mission to kill people. He shoot people in the car. And you see these code words that sort of make him click.
Yeah, so he's kind of like a sleeper cell. If you say a set words in an order, it kind of puts him into that kind of slave
Winter
mode.
Soldier, like,
Yeah.
go kill them.
Yeah.
And Zemo knows about this, and he's tortured someone for advice, and then he ends up being like he ends up interviewing Bucky, because he's an inside man, and he says these words, and Bucky escapes, and then that obviously makes him look bad. And
Yeah, but again, Steve Rogers, Captain America, refuses, or he notices that something's not quite right.
yeah,
So he decides to stick with Bucky, and it's just basically, after that point, it's them trying to convince, or trying to find out what's going on, whilst Tony Stark, there you go, that's the bloke. It's then him and his lot trying to catch up with them
Rein them in.
Yeah, to rein them in because people aren't happy.
Mm. And do you know Zemo? Do you know?
I've heard of Zemo. I don't actually know that much about his character. I thought he was a bit more of a big deal in the...
He is a bit more of a big deal in the comics, and he potentially will be. He wears a purple sock on his face.
Yeah.
And he is a bad dude, and he is in Civil War like that, but this was a very different take on him. And yeah, it turns out there's other Winter Soldiers
that could potentially overthrow nations, so they're trying to stop that. And then, yeah, eventually Tony catches up with them after all of the other Avengers are imprisoned.
Yep, in what is their basic version of, there's a prison that's in the alternate universe, and it's under the water.
Yeah.
So basically that's it.
Yeah. So he tries to catch up with them, and although they seem to be on the same page, this Baron Zemo guy, he's a dick.
He's a bit of a dick.
And he reveals that it was actually Bucky that killed Tony Stark's parents.
I didn't see that coming.
No, I thought they were starting to kind of wind it down, and I was like, well, hang on a second, there's stuff that hasn't happened, maybe they just cut it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because there's the fight. Which we're going to talk about the action next.
I feel like action needs to be
it's a whole thing. We'll talk about like the three major. But yeah, that bit when it's revealed that Bucky is, because they've made up, haven't they? They've sort of, Tony has gone against the government because he sees that he says I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And Sam goes, well, that's a first. You know, he's with Cap, but then it's revealed that Bucky's mission that you see him go on at the beginning was actually a mission to kill Howard Stark. And I literally did not see that coming. I was like, oh! So I literally didn't see it coming. I did not see it coming. And I found it really emotional, and you see that the shot was in... The trailers were really good. I think Marvel know how to do trailers. Yeah,
because even though they cut it to make things seem more antagonistic than what they actually ended up being, I think, although they didn't do that, the emotional level kind of was more powerful than that anyway.
One of my favourite bits in all the trailers was that bit where Tony is maskless and you see him and he looks defeated and then he just swings at Steve.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, oh, that must be like the final fight, blah blah blah. But then he reveals that's when he knows that Bucky's killed him, and Steve knew.
Yeah.
Steve knew. And then he swings. I remember just going. I think I just went, oh no.
Yeah.
And oh.
So then you have the fallout of that. Black Panther hears this, kind of forgets about Bucky, catches Baron Zemo. You find out his motivations, and then essentially everybody breaks up, or kind of pulls apart from each other.
Yeah.
Fucking Captain America and Bucky break out the Avengers.
That final shot of Steve just going looking like smart, and I remember thinking, he looks slightly different. I don't know why. Maybe just the way it's shot. But I was like, oh my god, he is Captain America.
Yeah.
He comes out of the shadows, and I just remember going, oh! And yeah, because this is the film that really has changed.
It's
the
changed.
MCU.
Yeah, because essentially, that's the Avengers have now split in half.
You've got
they
two
don't
Avengers.
want anything to do with Tony anymore.
No, Tony's got his Avengers.
Yeah,
but they're not you basically got these two sets of Avengers, and I just don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
But because all Marvel films always sort of go, they start here, then they go like this, and then they end up back here.
Yeah.
Whereas this has sort of gone,
Yeah. Yeah.
It was as perfect as you can get for a Marvel film.
I mean, you've got great action. I literally only have maybe one or two things that I feel like would have made it a little bit better. But you've got scale, because they're all over the world.
Yeah, at one point you've literally got scale, like, oh!
And this is the most emotional kind of breadth that you've seen from all of these different characters. It's really nice that you get that from a comic book movie, because normally they're all just happy fun time,
bang bang wallop wallop bang.
Yeah, Yeah, which is nice. But there's still some awesome action because the Russo brothers are really good at shooting like fight scenes.
Masterfully made this film. Like,
so let's, because we've covered that's the story essentially.
As Marvel films, there is that much story. Like, there's not the amount of story there is perfect. As it's a Captain America film, there is that bit sort of more of depth, like thriller-esque.
Yeah. It works on different levels.
But
the story is still pretty simplistic. The best bits come from like interactions between people, which there's some good bits. But fight scenes, now they've got a couple of set pieces that are just amazing, like some of the best fight scenes I've seen in a comic movie
I think
ever.
The airport scene is possibly the best superhero scene.
Because, as I said, we watched this at midnight screening. You went to 3D IMAX, I went to 2D. And I was pretty tired, but literally through that entire scene, I was shaking, I had goosebumps, I was like, oh.
Yeah,
It was so good.
You probably remember me saying it during Batman vs Superman when they were fighting. I was like laughing to myself. I don't know what I was doing this. I was just like, oh, like in a model of holy shit. Oh, fuck.
Now, because there is someone in this sequence that we're going to have to talk about, we might as well quickly just mention Spider-Man. Yes, we all know that he's in it. Now, I was a bit annoyed about how he was kind of tacked on to the end of the trailer. It was really...
Oh, in the trailer when you like...
In the trailer it was just like, hey, I'm here, cool. I feel like he's handled very well in this film.
Is completely expendable to the story.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you took him out, no need. But he is so well done, and I know we've only seen him for what? We see him at the beginning of Act 2.
That's the thing, you see him maybe for 10 minutes, maybe? Probably less than that, actually.
Well, you see him for that scene with that amazing scene with Aunt May and Tony and...
I'm so glad that he, like, Tony Stark mentions how fit his aunt is.
Marissa Tomei, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, you are beautiful.
Too beautiful.
Yeah, but Aunt May...
The stereotypical Aunt May.
I love that that's how they're doing it. That's what they're doing, and it's so good. That scene's probably a good 10 minutes. Because then you got that real good talk with that scene with Tony and Peter. Oh,
yeah, it's good.
In the room is so good when he's just playing around with him and he goes, "This is you."
Yeah,
and he's got
because it just really establishes how he is. I think this is, again, we've not seen him for that long, but it does seem that they've got a really good balance between how nerdy he is and how chatty and kind of fun he is in the costume.
Oh my god.
It's a good balance, I like it.
Like, absolutely, in my mind, perfect. Because one of the things, he's my favourite Spider-Man. As we were going to say, we've only seen about 20 minutes, half an hour, he's my favourite. Because Andrew Garfield was amazing.
Great. Good Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Too cool for Peter Parker. Tobey Maguire, good Peter Parker. Not great as Spider-Man.
Like, there's never been that perfect mix in Tom Holland, really, because he's young. Because Spider-Man is, people forget that he's like 15 when he's first, and he's just, he's so good. He's really good. Like that scene when he's talking about him and.
It's okay, man. It's okay. Take a minute.
So good. So he's brought in, and Tony basically builds him a suit, which is what we said. Like. In Civil War, he builds the Iron Spider, but Spider-Man's already established, and Spider-Man's the first one to reveal himself.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't have had the Iron Spider in this because he needs a suit. A suit, and so Tony builds him his first Spider-Man suit because he's basically just wearing a sock.
Yeah.
And then the first time you see him is in this airport scene where they all come together, and I remember there's the bit where Cap's the first one to get to the airport, and you see him run out. And I remember just going, fuck. And because I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
And then Iron Man lands, and then there's alright, I've had enough of this. Under rules!
Yeah.
And then he comes in, and then they all line up, and goes from there. How brilliant was that scene? Like, that whole sequence.
It was pretty much. I don't think us. It's gonna be very hard to beat.
Yes.
Because that was just. It was awesome because you had some nice little snippets of humour. There's good action in regards to. You've got stuff that's more physical, so like kind of more fist fights, but then you've got a bit more of like kind of. You've got people like Vision and Scarlet Witch where it's more like magical and gives it a more sense of like kind of verticality to it. And then you got Ant-Man.
Now, first off, fuck you, pop vinyls. Because have you never seen, for the past 3 months, the Giant Man pop vinyl has been circulating?
Nope, not seen that. There you go. Because of that,
You didn't.
I really did. I thought maybe in the next Ant-Man you'll see something like that.
Yeah.
Didn't think you'd. No.
It's that. So yeah. So amazing. That's amazing. There's a pop vinyl that's been going around as Giant Man, so I've been like, okay, fair enough. He's gonna do it. But that did not detract from the video. When he's running, when you see him, when he's little, and you see him running, and you're like, and he's going, I hope I don't explode myself.
Turn myself into
yeah, turn myself up. And then he just jumps, and it's fucking Giant Man.
Yeah.
And
Because it's like it's a good action, like set piece, just on its own, and then that just like,
it completely changes it.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And
because even Tony Stark at some point is like, does anybody on my team have like any superpowers that I don't know about?
And then, that's what kicks him off, isn't it? It's like, because like, oh fuck.
Basically, a lot happens in this set piece. A lot happens.
Yeah, so you've got
it's all just like
you have Black Panther versus Bucky.
Yeah,
that fight is amazing. Black Panther's action in this.
He's a fucking badass.
We'll get to the chase sequence after this, and then we'll go to the final fight, which was one of the most emotional times of my life.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it was. But you've got Bucky versus Panther, and then also Scarlet Witch comes in. Everyone interacts with each other.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem like it's just one person versus another. It does seem very fluid on how they end up taking on each other. Granted, Scarlet Witch and Vision, they only have a couple of things because both of them, if they were to have a fight with any of the other Avengers, they'd fuck them up.
Yeah, because Scarlet Witch could just go.
Yeah.
And Vision could just go.
Yeah, exactly.
Like so because Vision doesn't really play into it till. Oh no! Wait, no. Till the end, because he goes.
Yeah, he's got a couple of bits.
Yeah.
But
and then you got Machine, and because at first it's like, this is amazing, this is so good. Like it's Bucky and Falcon versus Spider-Man.
Oh, that's so
which
good.
was amazing, and like it's the whole Spider-Man, his like interaction, like is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like. The bit when he comes in and he's like, Captain America, big fan.
Yep.
It's so cool. Shield. And then like he's wall crawling, and then there's a bit where he shoots them and they're both on the ground, and I can't remember any of his lines. I need to have his lines.
It's basically a case of like, it seems like he's not really interacted with anybody else up until this point, so he's learning all of these things about these other kind of superhumans. So, for example, with Bucky, he's got a metal arm. He's like, "You've got a metal arm. That's so cool."
Because he catches it, doesn't he? It's like he stops him. He's like, "That's so good." Like
it's man.
And there's the bit where Falcon goes to him and goes, "Kid, I don't know if you've been in a fight before, but there's not normally this much talking."
Yeah.
It's like, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then the Captain America breaks down the bridge thing.
Yeah.
Playing, and he just catches it. And he goes, "Where are you from?" He goes, "Queens."
It's like,
he was really, really good, and he really did. Like, I say that you could take him out and it would have been a perfectly fine film, but that fight would have not been.
I don't think it would
as
have
entertaining.
Yeah, because again, but even though there were some slow bits, but for the most part, this film is really good. But what definitely helps it and kind of elevates it above, say, Dawn of Justice, is the humour. It really does help you kind of.
Well, it gets you more excited.
It keeps you uplifted.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else in that fight that really, 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 like the bit when Ant-Man's in Iron Man's suit.
Yeah.
and he's taken apart.
This is your conscience speaking.
Yeah.
We haven't spoken much recently.
Ant-Man's really good. There's that scene where they recruit Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And he's like, Captain America, you're amazing. And he turns, and then he turns to Scarlet Witch. He goes, I know you too. You're great. I love Paul Rudd as Scott.
Paul Rudd is awesome. But yeah, I mean, I think I did tweet this, but literally that fight scene alone, the airport scene, I would have paid happily just to see that, because that was just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real money,
Yeah, I mean...
The money shot is what you get when the big... Well, then there is a money shot right at the end.
Yeah. But, I mean, to a certain extent, even that airport sequence, like, the whole thing, that kind of encapsulates the whole movie. You've got the humour, you've got the fight between the two sides, and then at the very end of it, you've got the kind of the emotional kind of conflict between Rhodes and Tony and... Bucky.
Yeah, of course,
Captain America.
Yeah, because that really brings it back down after the airport scene. Because you almost feel guilty for enjoying it that much because Rhodes gets.
So in the trailers, you actually see this. You see Rhodes get shot down, and you don't know who by, and essentially it's because they're putting little seeds in about Scarlet Witch and Vision.
Yeah, because they're a thing. They're a thing in the guys, and it's so lovely.
Yeah.
And there's that really nice scene where he's cooking for her. But then that turns bad because it turns out he's just trying to keep her there. But they're cooking together, and he's never cooked before. He's never eaten before, and they're helping. But then he's just being told to keep her. Yeah. Tony's keeping her imprisoned in the Avengers compound.
So in the airport scene, they're having a little moment. Vision goes to shoot down the Quinjet, which Bucky and Captain America are in. Well, actually, I think he's just shooting at... He's
Falcon.
Yeah,
Falcon dodges.
Yeah, so Falcon's trying to get rid of Rhodes and Tony. Vision shoots at Falcon. Falcon dodges, and he hits Rhodes in his reactor, and he just fucking falls and just eats shit and smashes into the ground.
That I went oof, when he goes oof, like oh shit.
Yeah,
like he does hit the ground hard.
Yeah,
and that's really the that's the casualty of the fight. Like no one dies. In the film at all. Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, like, he's unconscious, and Falcon comes over and is like, I'm so sorry, and fucking Tony just blows him away, just like, fuck, like, no.
Because that, and, because that's almost that sort of, they're opposing sides, but they really didn't.
They're all friends.
Yeah.
It's just... Yeah.
As to this Tony's line, as Cap when he goes, he's my friend Tony, and then Tony goes, so was I. That was when I started.
See, now, that's got a completely different connotation in the trailer, because in the trailer it seems like, this is more sad. In the film, there's some anger behind those words.
Yeah, so let's talk, that's the casualty. Rhodes is then disabled, he's lost, he can't walk, but he's...
Yeah, so he's paralysed, but he's in rehabilitation for it.
So there's that, but then there's the final fight.
So before we get onto that, let's quickly touch chase scene.
Yes,
really good.
Black Panther's first real
kind of outing.
He's Power Ranger. Like, he looks like a Power Ranger to me.
Yeah,
but that's not my problem. Like, he looks so good. His costume is so cool. Because the first time you see him is when Bucky jumps out of the window in where are they? Vienna. When they're in Vienna,
German.
No, yeah. And Bucky jumps out, and then Black Panther just pounces down.
Yeah.
And he's that cool scene when he turns around and the sun shines and it reveals, and you're like,
which is quite nice because most of the Marvel suits are all quite colourful.
This
is just all black.
Yeah.
Some little white trimmings on it.
He's got his like necklace.
But it
thing.
looks pretty badass.
Slick.
The claws as well.
And he's made of vibranium.
Yeah.
So there's the helicopter piling bullets on him. Just like.
Yeah. So that whole chase sequence, it felt very like Jason Bourne, like very tense.
Yeah, I mean that's what I love about Captain America films is they are tense, like they are.
Russo brothers.
Yeah, so good.
Directing that action.
Marvel, you have found some gems. But yeah, I love it. It's like it's a car chase, but on foot. Like
Yeah.
even Steve at one point gets to the car and then the car's gone. So Bucky is being chased by Black Panther, who's being chased by Steve. And yeah, like it's just down a tunnel, and then So then, because Black Panther is like Bucky killed my dad and stuff. There's a scene where Bucky knocks the motorcyclist off the motorbike, grabs then the motorbike's spinning in the air. Bucky grabs it, he spins, he goes on that, and then the scene where Steve's in a car, and then the car blows up, and Steve just goes, "Nah, I'm good." Like,
there's so many good scenes in this.
Very little like action, like little numbers that are brilliant, and then
it does start as well with a police raid, which is also very nice because Bucky is still a bit kind of like Captain America's trying to save as many lives. He's trying not to kill anybody, so these German police are coming in to capture Bucky, but they've been told to shoot on sight. So they're both trying not to kill the police. The police are trying to kill them, and it's just a very nice scene.
Yeah.
But there's some fucking brutal shit in it.
Yeah, I mean, there's the staircase scene which I was like, huh, Daredevil.
Yeah.
And yeah, like there's where you see Steve sort of jump down, and there's a cool sequence down the staircase where Steve's saving people. When Bucky throws him off, he catches him. He goes, "Really?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man."
It's nice.
Like, so yeah, it's a chase, but the staircase sequence. This film's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
So
those are kind of like the big set pieces.
Yeah, action
set pieces.
You've got the three sort of.
So the third one. So as we said, they do a lot of kind of prep work for this. So you've got the very beginning where it's a flashback and you see someone in a car get killed. Tony starts talking about his parents and like how he like has regret and whatnot about them. And then you get to the end, and yeah, they all seem to be on the same page. And
Tony sort of said,
I made a mistake. You guys were right. I'm going to help you stop this guy. And he has a video that he starts playing for Tony, and it is slowly.
Zemo.
Yeah, so Zemo reveals this video. So they're all stood in the room together, and both Captain America and Bucky have like a oh shit look on their face, and Tony has a what's going on.
What's going on?
And it's slowly revealed in a very nice way. Like there's some like nice cuts to and from the video and Tony, and it's essentially Bucky killing his mum and his dad. So he like smashes his dad's face in, so it looks like he died. Yeah, it's brutal. And then he just strangles his mum.
Yeah.
And it's fucking.
Getting emotional.
It gets really tense. So it's then revealed that Captain America actually knew about this and didn't tell Tony, and then that's kind of what he flips.
It's just again like a shot I mentioned where he's sort of just looking at him and he sort of goes like you can see in his eyes like I can't not do this.
Yeah.
And he just swings and he like it's one of the like most like he really does get him. And then this fight sequence starts.
It's such a good fight sequence. It's so tense because you know that Tony wants to kill Bucky, so there's that the stakes have been raised.
Yeah,
so
like,
you're instantly like ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and like so, and then like they're doing the fighting and stuff, and they sort of Bucky tries to escape because Cap basically wants Bucky out of there.
Yeah,
because Cap knows that Stark will kill him.
Yeah.
And he does get fucking. No, he nearly does. But so they're in the. Are they in the prison? No, they're just in.
They're in this old Hydra base.
Yeah, Siberia. Is it Siberia they're in?
Yes.
Yeah. And then Bucky tries escaping, but Stark's lost one of his feet. Like
so
thrusters.
That's the other thing to this fight. You do see progression of like how battered they are. Like his, some of his. One of his blasters doesn't work anymore. One of his boots gets taken out.
So he's sort of hopping.
Yeah, and so he stops Bucky from escaping, and then you're like, right, okay, so this is how it's going to end. These guys are going to just beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. And you
Man.
got that shot, and then, so then they end up in front of the thing, and then they've got the shot of. It's that sort of the bit that I've been so excited for, and like when they were friends, I was like, okay, how are they going to do this? When Stark is bonded one knee, and he's got Cap and Bucky, and they're throwing the shield, and just like,
it's so good. It's so good because it's the set piece that you see where like
I'm just gonna fetal position.
So they're in this just like this empty kind of room, and it's literally just them two just wailing on him, and it's it's just so intense. And you eventually get to a point where he takes down Cap for a bit. I think he like gets him with like the pulse hand.
Yeah, he's off.
And Bucky gets pissed off, so he starts smashing the shit out of him, goes to rip out his reactor core.
With his metal arm.
And you just see a flash of light from his chest, his like main kind of cannon, and it's just like Bucky's just lying on the floor and his fucking arm has just been blown off.
And you're like, oh. And so Cap sees this happen, and then Cap uses his line where he's finally, and he goes, I could do this all day, which is what he does like when he's thirsty. And then
so you then get the scene where iconic shot from the graphic novel.
The cover.
Where
I just went like this. I just went.
People sat next to me like.
My mum went. Stop it.
Whereas there was like a guy like 5 seats over who's doing the exact same.
And so it's Steve, and it's framed perfectly. Again, Russo brothers. It's framed perfectly. Tony fires his pulsers. Steve puts his shield up,
and they're
just like, and that was the bit where I was like, holy crap, this film is the best one. Like, not that it hadn't been, but I was like, right, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then,
so then Tony starts to get the upper hand, and that's when he says the line, he's my friend. And Tony, as I said earlier, slightly different context, he's like, so was I. And it's like,
and that is like, they're not. I don't know how they'll
get back
together at all. But then,
so Bucky then grabs his foot. That distracts him long enough for Captain America to just beat the shit out of Tony. And I mean, I
was like, he's gonna.
I was just like, yes.
I was like, no,
someone's winning a fight here. And he literally just fucking gets his shield, smashes his helmet up, rips it off.
Well, he hits his. At first, he knocks him back, and Stark hits his head. I was like, oh shit. And yes, it's going like that, and then the helmet comes off. And
then it looks like he's going to fucking decapitate a motherfucker. And
I was like,
no! And he just slams it into his reactor, which kind of just depowers him. And that's like the final blow, and you're like...
And you're like, okay, this is... Captain America wouldn't have done that, because... Whereas you wonder if Tony was the other way, would have. And I just remember that shot of... And so Tony can't do anything because he's powerless.
Yeah.
And so they leave, and there's that image of Tony goes, that shield doesn't belong to you. My dad made it.
And he just fucking leaves
Throws
it there.
it away.
He doesn't care because he's fucking Captain America and he's the boy. But then they walk away, and Tony is just left trying to get up, but he can't because he's just had his shit pushed in.
And he's got his mask's here, the shield's there. That image was beautiful.
It's so good. So good. Now, what I will say is, if you've read Civil War, then you know what the kind of immediate follow-up to it was.
Yes.
Which, in the novels, Captain America gets killed. Because it's slightly different circumstances, he hands himself into the government, and then he is assassinated. So for me, and I think for a lot of other people, I was expecting someone to die.
Yeah, I remember thinking before when I was walking to the cinema. I remember going to my friends. Someone's going to die. Like, someone's going to die. It doesn't happen a lot in Marvel movies. Someone is going to die.
Because, so this is my one of my negative points about this, is that I just feel like after all of this, it's been such a massive build up. There was so much like kind of emotional stakes to it, that for nobody to die, it seemed a bit like it seemed like a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
that's the only thing, because we've had people die in the past, but they're not really people that we care about. Like Quicksilver dying is a bit like,
we just met him at the beginning of the film. Like, it was emotional, but it was almost more emotional in this because of Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Like when she's watching the COVID stuff. But again, yeah, we had only just met him, and villains have died and you etc. But no one that we know and love.
Yeah, because I think it was essentially going to be a case of, it would have been Rhodes, Captain America, or Bucky. One of them would have died. There's a lot of stuff in regards to like people's contracts and stuff like that kind of led to people believing.
Yeah, it's like
something might die, but
Infinity War's happening, so it's almost like you know people are gonna be there, but that doesn't mean that, because in Civil War Captain America dies.
Yeah.
But he comes back.
Yeah.
And I do feel that they need to do something like, they need that emotional sort of gut punch of somebody dying.
Yeah, because I mean, Rhodes, when he hits the ground, that would have been fine.
Yeah,
for
but
him to die, but they probably would have taken away the emotional impact of him finding out about his parents. Like he would have already had motivation.
Yeah, people don't come out of this perfectly fine.
No,
but they come out. No one comes out. No one doesn't come out.
Nobody dies. Like not even like, you've got Crossbones at the start, but not even Baron Zemo.
No, he goes to kill himself.
Yeah,
Black Panther shoots him. Doesn't shoot him. Stops him from shooting himself.
We have the film that it is, and it was really good. I would say now, actually, post-credit scenes.
Mm-hmm. Not unexpected. Like, nothing like that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, both. I kind of feel like I was a bit like, meh.
They're end credit scenes to the end credit scenes. Like
it was like the Thanos one where he's like, he puts on the glove. It's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, we know who you are. We know that you're going to come do this. Like, yeah, he goes, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
So you've got the scene with Black Panther where Bucky's being looked after by Black Panther.
Mm.
You see the big Black Panther, which is awesome.
Yeah, that was cool, because that just helps set up.
Yeah,
Black Panther.
that's the thing, is I remember going into the film going, it'll probably be Black Panther, and it will probably be Spider-Man.
Which is exactly what it is.
And it's cool because he does he's got the...
And he sees his logo, and it's nice.
They're good end credit sequences, but they're not the traditional...
Yeah, I think we won't really have those anymore, just because where we now expect them, and as you say, we know about most films years in advance.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was like
they
didn't really have a plan yet, so they were just kind of letting you know about stuff. You're like, oh, yeah. I didn't realise.
Well, it's like probably the most iconic, one of the most iconic ones is the end of Iron Man, where Nick Fury appears and goes, "I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative." Yeah. And it was like, fuck. Yeah, so they can't really reveal any surprises, and also because all these franchises exist already, especially as they introduce Black Panther, that Black Panther one, was almost like if Black Panther hadn't been in the film, that would have been like,
that would have been amazing. But yeah,
you've met who he is, but not a thing. Like, they just add Easter eggs, aren't they? Is what they are.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a little. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
For example, the Spider-Man. And it says Spider-Man.
Yeah, that Spider-Man will return.
Yeah,
it's like.
And the annoying thing is that there was a single person towards the front of the theatre that we were in who cheered and clapped, and I was like, "We already know that's happening."
Yeah, it got
fucking
announced.
Idiot. Overall thoughts and feelings.
Nathan,
I will go first because I've only got a couple of negatives. So one of them being, as I said, the fact that there isn't any deaths in this. Jesus. The fact that there isn't any deaths, I feel like is just something that they could have done, and it would have raised stakes a little bit more, made it that much more emotional, and had a bit more of a weighty punch to it. But you know, it still deals with things well enough as it was. I felt like Baron Zemo was a little bit of a wasted character. It was a bit like he was there and he was kind of pulling the strings, but you didn't really care that much. Like his ultimate motivation in the end was that his family died in the Sokovia incident.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to get...
But he says he wants the Avengers to kill themselves, like kill each other.
Yeah, because he knew that like stronger men than him have tried and failed. And it was just like... I kind of felt like it fell a little bit flat. I don't know if that's just because I'm a heartless arsehole. Potentially, who knows.
Yeah.
And then it seemed a little bit slow in certain places. But again, as I said, the humour more than kind of made up for it. It helped keep going. Yeah, those are the only negatives that I can think of.
And your score?
So,
no, this is amazing, by the way. I've discovered Nathan's rating system.
Yeah, it's shit. So I said 8.5. Now this is because I don't think I've ever really seen a film that is 10 out of 10. So a 9 is pretty much as good as you can get. And I accidentally said that it was like a 9 out of 9, which makes no goddamn sense because what the hell?
Who grades on a 9-point system?
Mate, cool people. That's who. Winners. But yeah, so I'd say an 8.5 it verges on a 9. If someone had died in it, I think then it would have been a 9. It would have been perfect every time. But yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I think my real big takeaway is that this was the perfect Civil War for the MCU. Like I said right at the beginning, people were expecting these, like, people wanted this massive war, but when you look back at what the MCU is, this was the one that this really made sense. It was a lot more intimate, like you said. It hit every note. It still remained a Captain America film at the heart. Like, he got the most time, got the most screen time. He was the protagonist. There is, like we said, there was Baron Zemo, but there wasn't really that sort of big villain, big threat to conquer, other than coming to get, like, either coming back together or ending that fight. The action was unbelievably good, brutal, funny, wonderful.
Yeah.
The character's amazing. Again, Marvel really have got them better and better and better and better and better and better. Yeah, Civil War is so far my favourite film of the year. And probably will be my favourite film of the year.
Yeah.
Because
Civil War, man.
Yeah, like we got this was Avengers 2.5. Like this was
Yeah.
Doctor Strange next, though,
Yes.
which is a big question mark, just because we don't know. I'm very optimistic.
I'm optimistic as well. I reckon it will. I mean, it inevitably. Fucking hell. It'll do well. There's no doubt about it. It's just whether or not it's a strong Marvel film.
Yeah. Civil War. This has been fun.
Yes, it's always fun. Yeah, so I feel like we're just going to continue doing these things because it's fun. It's just nice to sit down and just vent / talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna cut it off there. It's been fun. We probably missed a couple of bits, but do yourself a favour. Whether you like comic book movies, whether you follow the MCU or not, just watch this film because it's so much fun. So much fun. It's so good. Just the action sequences alone are just worth it. So worth it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
I think we've waffled on enough.
Oh, it's so good.
I don't know what's going to be the next thing. Probably Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that'll probably be another.
Because that's like the next
X-Men
thing. Oh yes, X-Men. Which, by the way, their latest trailer where they've shown that Wolverine's going to be in it. Mistake. Should have just left that.
Again, take a book from book from Marvel's page.
Take
a book from Marvel's
Marvel.
page, and do your trailers right. I think Civil War trailers tend to get better in hindsight.
Yes.
Because you're like, oh, that's that bit of that. But, oh, I didn't realise that. And I think Civil War really does show it off because you don't know what's happened.
Yeah, you don't. There's
because Baron Zemo isn't in the trailers.
Nope.
So you don't know that he's got what his plans are.
You see Crossbones for literally like a millisecond.
Yeah, you see that fight in Lagos.
Yeah. They all of the best bits they don't show you, which is great.
Yeah, like they don't show any of that airport fight.
They don't show.
They don't, do they? Actually?
They don't show the main antagonist, who everybody knows to be Doomsday, and then
I see where you're
I
going.
just keep ribbing on that film. I apologise.
I love that film.
It's a good film.
Although, I'm Tom Dent, and Batman vs Superman isn't my favourite film of the year.
Well, he's gonna need to take a minute. So, as always, you've been you, we've been us.
I've been him. I'm gonna say that in. I've said that.
You're gonna.
That's good. I think.
Screw me over every single time.
I've been him.
And we will see you in the next video, which I'm sure you won't fuck. Bye.
What?